The year 2022 has been quite an eventful one for the tech industry. It could be aptly described as the year of the layoffs. According to data, globally 861 tech companies have laid off over 138,000 employees. Unfortunately, the layoffs may have just begun, according to industry analysts who have projected that more jobs will be slashed come 2023. Nigerian tech companies have also not been insulated from this. While some tech layoffs have not been making the news in many tech companies in Nigeria are said to be quietly reducing their staff numbers. To help us understand this, we have Gamaliel Tanimuno, an industry expert and tech writer. Good morning, Gamaliel.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yes, let's launch into it. We have witnessed massive rounds of layoff in the tech space in the past few weeks. Let's get your thoughts on this.
Okay, so once again, thank you for having me, and good morning to our listeners. I saw it coming, but perhaps not at the rate at which it has. From Twitter, for example, after Elon Musk took over the Bird app, he said that the bird has been let loose. And because of the data issues EU is currently having with it, Twitter is shutting down most of its offices along that route. But globally, I expect to see more. But what worries me is that I expected that technology will create more jobs rather than reduce it. So I think this is just the first line. There should be some form of stability over the years, as it were, because technology should create more jobs and not cause people to lose jobs, as it were. So those are my immediate thoughts.
All right,
I know that Apple also has cut down about 10,000 jobs across his locations. And it is worrisome. It is worrisome. Yes.
Well, that's that. Let's come back. Let's come to Nigeria now. We've seen so many companies like Quidax, Kuda. They've cut down on jobs. Now they've warned that many industry watchers have warned that this will not stop now. That come 2023, especially in the first quarter, that this might continue. What should they be doing to weather these storms now?
Okay, so the Nigerian situation is a peculiar one. And I think that the job losses is not peculiar to the tech space. It cuts across all industries. And one, it is due to government policies. We all just woke up one morning and discovered that fuel, depending on where you are buying from, is either 300 per liter or maybe 400. We heard that subsidy will be removed. So the question is, even if you are running a co-working space, it is also not sustainable. So the variables are too uncertain to plan around. Like I said, there will be the initial attrition, which eventually will go on into the first quarter of next year. But perhaps there will be some stability if the government provides a conducive environment. The variables are just too much. Today it is dollar, tomorrow it is fiscal policy, next tomorrow it is monetary policy. So the variables are just too much, as it were, for a country like ours. We are not even near adopting technology, as it were. We are not even near. So let's not even go to the fact that we have started adopting. So for a Kuda, for example, it could be the business environment as well. That's why they are having to cut down on jobs.
Well, if I may come in there, one argument was that when COVID hit in 2020, that most of them employed more than they could handle. But now that things have returned to stability, it's responsible for them cutting down on this number. Do you agree with this?
I do not. I do not totally agree. The next wave of COVID is coming. You are aware. There's a whole lot of protest in Wuhan because people are refusing to stay indoors. And then I'm not sure Nigeria is ready for another lockdown. So I do not think that assumption is right. That's my personal assumption. I do not think that assumption is right. Okay.
One major thing that the tech sector has done is to allow people that are in Nigeria work overseas. But we are seeing this global cut down, and most liabilities will always be people that are on contract. What does this spell for the future of remote work?
Okay, so the Nigerian environment is very, very peculiar. So we are not even ready for remote work at all. Maybe we will get there, but I don't think it is now. Even if it is going to work, there has to be a lot of technology investment, because if you're going to monitor remote work, there has to be the infrastructure to ensure that people people hour count, the hours they put in count, so their KPIs, their deliverables, etc., etc. So we're not even ready for remote work at all in this part of the world. I do not think so.
Well, now let's look at Twitter. Twitter, for example, we've seen layoffs and the move to make the platform a very generous one, to make it a revenue generating one. What's your opinion about the issue with Twitter recently?
Okay, so I'll try to be fair. So I think that Mr. Elon Musk is just a serial entrepreneur who wants to democratize the Twitter space. We have seen some of his moves. I think it is more politically motivated. I stand to be corrected, because first is he restored Kanye West Twitter account. He restored
Donald Trump,
President Trump's account. Now he's saying that for you to have a blue tick, you need to pay $8 per month, and then he's going to upgrade maybe to a golden tick and all of that. So. Yeah. I don't know what business model works for him. Everyone is watching. This is a man that runs Tesla. He runs one of the most valued global brands. So let's see what he's going to make out of Twitter in the days ahead. I know that there's going to be a compromise in the days ahead, because considering the number of jobs Twitter has created in the EU, and the fact that EU is at loggerheads with Elon Musk on data privacy issues, there will be a middle ground, and that is what capitalism has brought to us. I'm sure it will cut the attention of EU to come to a table to say, this is what I want, this is what you want, let's find a middle point, because EU cannot even afford such humongous job losses at this critical point because of post-COVID recovery syndrome.
Well, now, one thing that we need to know, that the Nigerian tech industry is growing. We've seen it with the recent numbers in the country's GDP. It was around 18.44 as at Q2, but this quarter it slowed down to around 15%. What are the what do you stand in terms of ICT in Nigeria?
I didn't get the last statement.
Yeah, what's your stand about ICT here in Nigeria? Is it where it should be? Is it?
So I honestly think that we have barely scratched the surface of what ICT can contribute to GDP growth. We are just focused lazily on petroleum, as it were. So I think that's a sector that government needs to democratize that sector and provide more incentives. If CUDA is laying off people right now, for me, it's a cause for concern.
Yes.
It is either two things. It is either the numbers are not doing well, or something is happening in the background. So it calls for a deep introspection.
Well, let's have your final thought and we'll call it a wrap then.
Okay, so let's see how it goes. But in Nigeria, I think the government needs to sit up and provide a conducive environment so that the ICT sector can deliver and contribute in immense way to the GDP of the country. Okay.
Sorry, before we let you go, we are still going to have to look at some of these issues in depth because of certain reasons. For example, now the 2023 election is coming close, and one of the things that they've been hammering on is that Nigeria needs to diversify its economy. But one thing we've noticed is that one of the ways that they are diversifying the economy is through taxation, and we've seen heavy taxes on the likes of MTN, that they recently had to even increase the cost of their data. What is this a very good move?
Okay, so I think rather than increase taxation, what you should do is to expand the business. So empower 1 million. There are about 17 million MSMEs. Let's lift 5 million of them out of struggling state, and let us tax 5 million, even if it is 100K per annum. That's going to give you some 5 billion naira in revenues in terms of IGR. So we are focused on MTN. You don't want to kill these guys. They create direct and indirect jobs. Let us expand the tax net and bring more people into the tax net. That is what we should do.
Well, that's a very, very interesting one. Also, we recently saw the recently signed Nigerian startup bill. Are you with us?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's look at what are the promises that the recently signed Nigerian Startup Act holds for the country?
So, candidly, I don't want to go into that bill.
Okay.
Because the country I know is that we are heavy on words. We are low on implementation. What has happened to the Nigerian framework policy that we did some time ago? What has happened to all the papers, all the committee, all the strategy document? At some point, it was Vision 2000. Now it's Vision 2020. Now it's Vision 2050.
2050.
So I do not want to go into that document at all. What I'm after is let the government walk the talk. The government can be speaking from both sides of the mouth. If Kuda is shutting down and cutting down on jobs, there's a problem. So I don't care what is in that bill. That bill can go to sleep. How many jobs can Kuda create? If a technology company is losing or cutting down on jobs, then there is a problem.
Okay, that's a very good place to anchor this conversation. Thank you very much, Gamaliel.
Thank you for having me. Good
yes.
morning.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, we shall look at the oil market and the global stock market.